This is a perfect example of what I love about what you do. I mean, when I saw the Doritos commercial, I knew you had something to do with this because, I mean, that crazy guy looked like a biker in this thing, jumping it, I believe, into a China house, and then into, I believe, the second part was a fireworks display. Everything goes mayhem. I mean, where do these come to you? I mean, are these your ideas? Do they come to you and just say, okay, spill your brain on the floor, let's see what you got?
From our studio in Southern California, the hotbed of car culture, covering all things automotive. Welcome to In the Garage with Dennis. Here's your host, Dennis Pitzenbarger.
On this week's program, we're going to take a special visit to Ted Moser's shop. It's called Picture Car Warehouse, where you can see where the movie magic is really made and how cars get on the big screen. Make sure and check out our Facebook, Twitter, and web pages. Also, a quick visit and a message from one of our sponsors. Royal Purple's HPS is recommended for vehicles no longer under warranty and for those seeking a higher level of performance and protection. It's fortified with a high level of ZDDP anti-wear additives and Royal Purple's proprietary additive Centerlick. Independent tests have shown that HPS outperforms other leading synthetic and conventional oils in both gasoline and diesel engines. So get ready, get set. The show starts right now. You've been doing this since 1990. Opened this 03, right?
Correct.
03.
I did Too Fast, Too Furious down in Miami. Had 300 employees, built 228 cars. Had a first unit going, second unit going. Came back and said, well, I could do this. Had 25 cars, opened the company, and it exploded.
I look at what goes into a movie as a car guy, and I know that you just don't go down to the dealership and pick up, the Charger that was in, Fast and Furious and, rip the Maroni off the window and walk out the door with it. Do you think that anyone realizes how much goes into these cars that are in these car guy movies?
My experience tells me that nobody knows how much work goes into these. It's just ridiculous. And the funniest part is people think that picture cars are crap, but you got to realize we may be putting a $20 million actor behind the wheel of this car, so we got to make sure the brakes work. And normally they steer well, they perform well. We got to put fuel cells, 5-point harness, and we have 2 or 3 weeks to do this, not 2 or 3 years. Yeah. So the pressure to get it done and make sure it's done right and correctly, opposed to an overhauling series where, oh well, we could fix it when it comes back. We can't do that.
Yeah, you don't have that option.
No, you got to hit it right the first time.
Well, what's probably the most rewarding project you've been on? One where you just everything seemed to either come off right, or the cars for some reason you liked them a little more. What's the one maybe project or movie you've worked on that you enjoyed the most?
I hate to say it, but it's probably the next one that I do, because they're always different. That's what I love about the movie industry and doing these cars. It's just when you think you've seen it all, they come up with something different. We just did a show down in New Orleans. We went out and we bought 5 step-side 77 Dodge pickups.
Like
and
Little Red Expresses.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But one of the gags is the drug lord jumps in it and backs out. Well, what we have to do is build a reverse drive. So we build this cage with a chain going across and all these pedals going this way when the car is looking that way. So this guy lays down in the back of the bed and they put boxes and everything else all over him, and off he drives. And it looks like the guy in the front is driving, but he's not.
That's amazing. I look at some of the stuff, being a car guy and being a fan of car guy movies, when you look behind the scenes, you realize just how much goes into it. But as much as I could sit here all day and talk cars with you, I've got to get back in the back of the shop and give everybody out there watching this kind of an idea of what really goes on here, because they just don't have a grasp of it. And I want to give them a sneak peek. Can we pull the curtain back from the Land of Oz back there?
If you tell somebody, I'll have to kill you, but let's go.
All right. What are the more famous cars that are back here? I mean, what's back here that people would recognize from TV or movies right now?
Well, a couple things we could start with. What we're leaning on is a 47 Chevy from the movie All the Pretty Horses with Matt Damon, directed by Billy Bob Thornton. We have cars from Dexter. We have the cars from Mad Men, Hitchcock, Justified. We have the GTO from a movie called Little Man with the Wayans brothers. It's crazy. This guy's like this tall.
Oh, really?
Funny stuff.
That's funny.
So, you know, if you walk around, you're probably going to recognize what they were in.
Back there.
It'd be a great test for you that you could come up and say, okay, this car was in here, this was in that movie. And we ship cars all over the country. We got 2 gray Suburbans out there that were in Men in Black 3 back in New York City.
Oh, right on.
So we go to New Orleans, Atlanta, a lot of different places.
This is a perfect example of what I love about what you do. I mean, when I saw the Doritos commercial, I knew you had something to do with this because, I mean, that crazy guy looked like a biker in this thing, jumping it, I believe, into a China house, and then into, I believe, the second part was a fireworks display. Everything goes mayhem. I mean, where do these come to you? I mean, are these your ideas? Do they come to you and just say, okay, spill your brain on the floor, let's see what you got?
Well, normally, they give us an idea and we go with that. So, you know, they want something off the hook, and I said, well, hey, we did a movie called Dragon Ball Z, and we built these futuristic Hummers with these giant suspensions, jacked them up to the sky. I go, well, you know, it'd be funny. They want a monster truck. Let's do something different. Let's take an El Camino body and just stick it on top of this monster truck and see what happens. And the funny part is, they did jump the truck. So.
Is this the actual unit from the show?
This is it.
I love it. You know, we'll come back sometime when we can drive it when I'm going to get in trouble. But it's other stuff like right over here is one of the BMWs from Taxi. That was Jimmy Fallon, I believe, and Queen Latifah.
Right. And the funny part is that we recycle everything. Yeah. Really, nothing's sacred. There aren't many things that we keep as is, because a lot of stuff is hard to find. You're not going to. Especially 60s and 70s cars, yeah. they're a dying breed, so we got to protect and serve and take care of everything that we have.
Well, let's take, you know what, speaking of 60s stuff, let's take a walk back here, because back here is a bunch of stuff that everything from, there's a really cool Coke bottle charger sitting back here, which you could donate to in the garage with Dennis if you wanted. Just saying, if you wanted to. But you're talking about recycling. I mean, can you tell me, like, some of these cars have probably been in multiple movies or multiple TV shows. You know, is there a history on some of these as we're just standing right here?
Yeah, this car right here is a 73 Dodge Coronet, 63,000 miles. If you look in the back seat, it's still got the plastic on it.
Oh my God, it's Grandma's car.
It was a one-owner car. The claim to fame is this was in the Super Bowl. It was a Taco Bell car.
Really?
Yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. Now, what we like to do with stuff like this is, these are what I call Dirty Harry cars. If we ever went back and did a Dirty Harry movie, you need detective cars, right?
Sure, that would be
So what is that? Now, who is protecting the 4-door Dodges?
Not a lot of people.
I need the front clip. We're going to pull that off, scrap the rest of the car. So, you know, I buy these cars for $3,000 to $4,000, and I get calls all the time from people saying, hey, I want to buy that car. And I go, well, all right, $18,000. Oh, $18,000, I can buy it for $4,000. I said, well, find it.
Yeah, and with 63,000
right.
miles.
Yeah, we have a pickup over on the other side. It's a 72 Ford pickup. You'll see it. But at $350 for a rental, it has brought in over $45,000 in rentals.
Well, let's go take a peek.
And you wouldn't pay $1,200 for this truck.
Let's go take a peek at some of this stuff.
I bought this truck from Universal Studios. It was in a movie called The Life of David Hale with Kevin Spacey.
I don't remember that movie.
The story was that he was against the death penalty, so he kind of stacked the deck against himself to be convicted of murder and was executed, and then they found out that he had gone through the system and was innocent. But the bad guy followed him around. I think I paid $1,200 for this. It's been in the Super Bowl, it's been in playoff games. Yeah, they loaded up with fruit. It's just the look, you just can't beat the look.
All right, this thing's got a new motor in it. You're saying, you know, literally it might move 3 miles.
Right. Normally it'll be transported to set, rolled off. They drive it into set. They may drive it 100 yards back and forth 15 times, but that's pretty much it. You know, they don't do a whole lot of driving. You drive a certain point, you cut. They move the cameras. You drive a certain point, they cut.
It's amazing.
I have to teach you all this production stuff.
Well, I'm working on that.
We'll get you going. To me, this is what life is all about. This is why I do what I do. You know, I've loved cars since I was a kid.
I mean, it's a 440. Is it a 6-pack car?
No.
No, okay.
No, 375 horse.
They're still, I mean, those three deuces are a pain in the butt anyway half the time. But, you know, yeah, I mean, if you're a B-body fan, I mean, it's so funny, you know, I grew up around Chevrolets, and it's not an unknown story that my brother-in-law, who really kind of with my dad's help got me into this, you know, and I had that Impala I got when I was 12. And he always had, you know, big block Impalas or, you know, Chevy stuff. And it's funny because he always said, even though he's really a Chevy guy, the fastest car he ever owned was a 440 GTX. And it was just something about these cars. I mean, if you're not a B-body fan, you're not an American car fan. I mean, even if you're, hey, listen, if you bleed blue oval and you know, and you got your, you know, or you got red blood for your bow tie, you can't not appreciate this car.
I could look at these all day. They're like beautiful women. Then you get to 80 and you're going, oh, there's nothing to look at.
It doesn't really do it any justice.
So what's better than a Chevelle or a GTX? It's like you have them all.
Well, I tell
my favorite is the one I'm driving today.
Yeah, exactly. And I can tell the keys are in it, so I know you're driving this thing. Well, I can't thank you enough for letting us hang out here, Ted. I mean, it's something where I think the audience is certainly going to enjoy seeing that behind the scenes thing and really understand what really goes into these car guy movies, because you don't have to be a guy that's going to rebuild your car to not enjoy a car guy movie or anything that you see as production in a big film production, or even something that's easy as a TV show or a commercial, which certainly isn't easy, but it's just one of those things that I think giving them that kind of look behind the magic curtain of Oz gives them something to do. But if people want more information about what you do, how to get a hold of you, if they want to, you know, have you build a car, I mean, what's the best place for them to find you?
They can just go to our website, picturecarwarehouse.com. That's the easiest way. They can look at our inventory, they can see the stuff. We have stories of what we've done, and they're welcome anytime.
Before we take off from Picture Car Warehouse, I want to get a word in from one of our sponsors, Craftsman. America's largest modular power system is Craftsman Bolt-On. The innovative power tool system from Craftsman brands combine the power of 20-volt max lithium-ion batteries based with 9 interchangeable attachments. So it can be the tool you need anywhere you need it. Attachments include drill driver, sander, jigsaw, impact driver, oscillating multi-tool, hammer drill, router, and even a trim saw, which allows you to tackle any job around the house. Craftsman, made to make. Available at craftsman.com, Sears hometown stores, and now Ace Hardwares. So we're gonna wrap up this episode of the show. We wanna make sure and thank you for coming by, and we'll see you in the next episode.